A defensive wing hits the buyout market. Who's going to be interested? Plus, Bradley Beal. That buyout should be happening anytime now. I'm Trevor Lane. This is the Basketball Bulletin. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because you know what? I've said it before, but about 70% of you watching this, you're not actually subscribed. Fix that. Hit the subscribe button. Let's go. Joining me, Donnie Freeman. Donnie, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Tell me why I logged on to the thumbnail thing just now, and I saw you put trade market. Who told you that was okay?
Wait, with the double K, like market
Yeah,
N?
yeah. Who told you that was okay? Don't be doing stuff like that.
My punny brain told me it was fine. That was the video that posted just a little bit ago about the Lowry market and trade market. I couldn't help it.
I literally saw that just now. So
it's too on brand. It was too on brand. I'm like, it's low hanging fruit. I gotta do it. Nobody's called me out in the comments yet. So, but
just
I'm
go
glad
to that
you
video
did.
and leave a comment saying, "Trev, don't do that again." Just do it. I want to see a bunch of those.
Oh no, everybody loves my puns. Okay, let's get into Josh Okogie hits the market. According to Brett Siegel, the Charlotte Hornets are waiving Josh Okogie. Now, not a surprise at all. I think we anticipated this was going to happen. His $7.75 million contract for the 25-26 season will be fully guaranteed after Tuesday. Had he remained on the Hornets roster, he landed in Charlotte as part of the trade with the Suns and actually wound up there as part of the Yusuf Nurkic trade, as I recall. 7 points per game, shot 44.3% from the field last season. I feel like that's a little bit misleading because it makes it sound like he didn't shoot that poorly. Josh Okogie is a really good defensive player, Donnie. This is where I think some teams could have some interest in him, but he is a terrible shooter. If he was not, there's no way they're declining a $7.75 million team option on his contract because he's that good, or option on his, or non-guaranteed portion of his contract, I should say, because he's that good of a defender.
Yeah, if he was even a halfway decent shooter, he would find a pretty consistent, reliable home on an NBA roster because he's the type of guy at that point that most teams are looking forward to. And I feel like we can say that about every other one-way player in the league. But I don't want to just, diminish him like that. But yeah, he's not shot well throughout his career. He's not known as a shooter. But I do think he can provide a team value, particularly if you are in need of a defensive wing, but you've got a lot of offense around the player to where even if they take the space away and try to like sag off of this guy, that would be something you can kind of benefit from. I thought he fit nicely on Phoenix a couple seasons ago for the same reason. So.
Well, and that team, and by the way, Okogie went to Charlotte as part of the Nick Richards trade. It wasn't the Yusuf Nurkic deal there. But when we're looking here at these numbers, these are impressive numbers. When we look at, he's being compared to forwards, to wings, in terms of block percentage, 91st percentile, 92nd percentile, obviously small sample size, 24 games with Phoenix.
That's very impressive.
Yeah, but look at all the way throughout his career, his block percentage has been fantastic. Steal percentage has been fantastic. Foul percentage maybe creeps up. So sometimes he's gambling for steals and blocks and getting himself in a little bit of trouble there where he's picking up fouls. But this dude is a legit defender. He's 6'4", can defend multiple positions. This is the kind of player teams are looking for on the defensive side of the ball. The issue is the offense. And that's always going to be the problem with it. If he ever gets that set, then he would be in really good shape.
Yeah, and the problem with that is that it's not just like, okay, well, what is one thing you do well? Like, because you can be somebody like that, but if you're a good slasher, cutter, things like that, I think you can, or even a lob threat potential, I think you can find a meaningful role in the NBA. I think we've seen those types of guys, but he doesn't really do anything specifically well when it comes to scoring the basketball. And I think that's going to be what ultimately has held him back, or is ultimately what's held him back throughout his career up to this point.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where things currently stand with him. You look at the usage percentage, it's been pretty low, but for good reason. His points per shot attempt is terrible. But nonetheless, there's a lot of teams out there that are looking for wing defenders right now, and most teams do not want to let guys go who can defend on the perimeter. So if you have a lineup that can feature, like the Suns did, where you had Kevin Durant, Brad Beal, who we're going to talk about in just a second, Devin Booker, all these guys who are just flamethrowers on the offensive end, then you can mitigate the offensive problems of Josh Okogie a little bit more. If your team is not structured in that specific way, though, he becomes a lot less useful. Still, I think somebody picks him up for a veteran.
He should go to Sacramento for that exact reason.
That's not a bad call.
No, that's like a team like Sacramento that's like all offense. That's the type of team that could really benefit from having him there.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. On the offensive end, you can have Zach Levine, Malik Monk, of course, DeMar DeRozan, Sabonis, all these guys. If they're able to continue their offensive production, he's a guy that can go out there and just focus on defense. Wouldn't be a
Yep.
bad landing spot for him. Actually, I
No,
like that
not at
one.
all. I think he could get meaningful rotation minutes there.
All right, so now we're going to jump over to Bradley Beal, who, as of today, should be receiving his upfront payment on his contract for this coming year, which is about $15 million. We're looking at that he'll be getting, and it makes a lot of sense why he would want to wait to do a buyout till after he gets that money, rather than do the buyout and the stretch and then not get that $15 million immediately. Instead, get it over 5 years. When we talk about, I mean, simple investing, just being able to put that money into even just an interest-bearing account, you get back way more than if you spread that money out, if you're still getting the same total amount of 15 million over the next 5 years. So now I think we've hit a point with that Beal paycheck that's coming in here where, as we've talked about in the past, a Bradley Beal buyout is now likely to happen. It could happen any moment now. Hopefully it doesn't happen before we actually put this video out. But how big of an impact can he actually make for a team? Because this was a bit of a surprising take that we saw here. Check this out.
When the Suns get rid of Bradley Beal, the Lakers could get him for $5 million. Bradley Beal is the missing piece. You can just go ahead and get the parade ready for the Lakers if they get Bradley Beal.
Get the parade ready.
Get the parade like okay. So there's a few things here. First of all, and I'll talk about this a little bit more on Lakers Nation, but he's got $5 million. The Lakers don't even have that right now that they could give him, but maybe they'll get there. I don't think, whether it's the Lakers or any other team, I don't think there's a team that Brad Beal can go to where we say that's it, get the parade ready. And I still think he's most likely going to the Clippers. I think he's very good. I think he's become underrated because the conversation about his contract and his value relative to his contract has bled into the conversation about what he is as a basketball player, as tends to happen. We saw it happen with Zach LaVine too. He's a good player, but I can't think of any situation aside from maybe OKC, right? The reigning champs. And that wouldn't be because he arrived. I don't see any situation that he could go there and a team could say, that's it, we're now the clear-cut title favorites because we got Brad Beal.
Yeah, can you pull up his metrics on cleaning the glass as well so we could look at that, similar to how we were doing earlier? Yeah, Bradley Beal, I think, is an interesting guy because depending on where he goes, he may get marginalized, his skill set get a little bit diluted depending on how much that team actually needs that production. So since the Lakers were brought up, like, let's talk about the fact that he would be a bit redundant with like Austin Reeves. He's also going to be somebody that you can put the ball in his hands, but you don't really necessarily need that when you've got LeBron, Luka, Reeves, all that stuff. So he's going to mostly be just relegated to being like a spot up guy, maybe off the screen guy, things like that. You're going to try to use him like that. And then every now and again, you will in certain lineups or, you know, lo and behold, maybe an injury happens, something like that. You're going to rely on his other parts of his game, but in a reduced role on a team that already has a lot of star playmakers, I don't know that he is the missing piece that you would put in. Like, he's somebody that I wouldn't turn away because he's a good depth piece. I think maybe there'd be some friction as to whether or not he starts or is coming off the bench because of the fact they already have, you know, a starting player there. Maybe you move Reeves off the bench. It doesn't really matter at that point, and I think there could be some friction with that. But I would like him a lot more in a place that doesn't have so many questions around what he could potentially do if he'll get marginalized, like a Milwaukee or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, he's the type of guy where, like you said, his play could be diluted if he's in a place that already has his skill set where maybe they don't lean upon him as much. He is hyper efficient. Now, it is worth noting that on cleaning the glass, he is listed as a combo guard for a few years, but also listed as a wing some years. So that's going to change his assist metrics when he's being compared to other wings rather than guards. So his assist numbers did go up a bit in Phoenix when he suddenly got classified as a wing, but when he was a combo guard and not with the Wizards where he got all the opportunities and the usage rate is through the roof, the assist dropped down a little bit when he's still considered a guard, but still hyper efficient. The points per shot attempt, really, really good. You know, he can certainly fill it up. Of course, there's always going to be some concern, you know, with the defensive side of things. Fouled a bit too much for the Suns this year, but he's going to be a value. Whether somebody gets him for a minimum contract, whether it's a biannual, whatever it is, he will be a value because the Suns are still going to be paying the bulk of his salary. I just don't. he's a great fit for somebody, and somebody will be. It's most likely going to be the Clippers, but whoever gets him will be thrilled to get him at that price tag. He will be a bargain, whether it's 3 million or 5 million or whatever. For the bang for your buck will be phenomenal for whatever team gets him. I just don't think he's a put you over the top kind of piece right now. He can absolutely be a piece, but it's not like, what if the Clippers get him? It's not like, whoa, okay, the Clippers are going to run the West now. Same with the Lakers. Same with, even if he goes to Milwaukee in the East, I know it's more wide open in the East. That puts the Bucks more in the mix, but I don't think it vaults the Bucks to being the clear favorite at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that he is somebody that, like, on that value, like you were saying, every team that's trying to make a playoff run should try to target. Because you get the talent and then figure out the rest of it after that. So, like, on the Lakers piece, again, it's not that I don't think he would be a good player for the team. They don't have bench depth. Whoever winds up coming off the bench would help the team, things like that. I do have those other concerns that I laid out earlier, but yeah, on that salary, like, why wouldn't you try to get Beal, especially because, again, he is somebody that can just make your team much better. I just think that for him, probably also just forecasting his next contract, he probably want to be in the best spot to get as much shine as possible. And that's market, yes, but it's also role and usage. I think that matters as well a good bit for Beal. So
what's the best landing spot? If you pick one team, what's the best landing spot for Beal?
Well, there's multiple alternatives. Like, maybe it depends on, like, he'll have a big role on, like, certain teams like Miami, but maybe they're not exactly in contention. Maybe they can get there with Beal and a few other pieces. But
it seemed like they kind of put themselves out on the Beal chase when they went and got Norm Powell.
Oh, that's right. They did do that. That's why we opened up the Clippers. So yeah, I guess that's maybe a little, I guess you could still technically pull it, but I wouldn't want to go there if I was Beal. I threw Milwaukee out there. Maybe a team like Detroit could be good, but that's not really like a usage role type play. That's more just like depth. I like the East. I like Detroit. Maybe making a title push potentially.
He could be another guy with Jaden Ivey and
yeah, it would be a lot there. I think if we really looked at it, he may be best off going to the Clippers just because they've got that ready-made role in the starting spot for him. They're in a big market. They're assumably trying to be in the playoff title contention, all that stuff. But I do wonder about on that team. They may deal with some injury issues too. I think that's a foregone conclusion, but I do wonder on that team how much shot attempts he'll get. But you may get to a point with him where he's taking 15 shots per game on that team.
I think what's interesting too is if he goes to the Clippers, he might start. And it just may be, reputation based and status in the NBA based. But I do wonder if the best option is to play him, if he does go to the Clippers, as little as possible with James Harden, and instead try to combo him as well as Harden with Chris Dunn more often than not.
Yeah, you may get to that point where that is just a better case overall. But I mean, depending on what he wants to have happen, there's not really a ton of great spots. Depending on what your goal is, right? Like, I could throw out there a number of teams, and are they in contention? Maybe not, but does he care about that? And also, like, geographically, where does he want to go? Is his family going with him? Does he want to stay on the Western Conference? Does he want to have a starting spot? Does he want to come off the bench? When you start asking these questions, the list of destinations changes. But I think there's a lot of good guards in the NBA, so I don't know if there's a ton of spots that can afford him all of that.
Yeah, agreed. So that's going to be something that'll be, we'll certainly be keeping an eye on. And we have to remember too, whatever Brad Beal decides, and this buyout news, assuming he is indeed getting bought out, could happen any moment. Now that we've hit the 15th.
Does he go to Philly?
What? Because Paul George is hurt now?
What's happening with Grimes? Did they retain Gordon or not? I don't know if they did.
Yeah, Eric Gordon, I believe he came back. But still, they got Jared McCain. They got Tyrese Maxey.
Oh, they just got VJ. Never mind.
And they got VJ Edgecombe. That guy's kind of good too.
If I'm yeah, exactly. If I'm Philly, I don't want VJ. All right, excuse me. I don't want VJ. I don't want Beal because I got VJ.
I think one thing we know with certainty is regardless of where he goes, and by the way, I would still, the odds-on favorite is the Clippers, that's where he's going to go. That's what everyone is expecting. I will be surprised if it's not the Clippers. But
I've seen other people say that he's pretty likely to go to the other LA team too, though.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen that out there a good bit.
That's a whole other conversation. I mean, that could
they've got to figure out a way to get that done in the first place.
Yeah. And if they do that, does that that's a conversation for Lakers. We will spare you non-Lakers fans here. But the other thing to watch for is once the Beal thing happens, regardless of where he picks, expect that in short order, we will see Chris Paul, we will see Russell Westbrook, we will see Malcolm Brogdon, all of these guys, perhaps Ben Simmons, all of these guys will land with teams pretty quickly. I think the Beal situation is right now holding everything up. And as soon as that happens, as we get resolution there, we're going to see, and it may even happen before, like, because depending on when the news comes out, you know what I mean? Like, it could be known around the league where Beal's going, and then Paul decides to go somewhere or whatever. But in short order, we're going to get resolution on all of those guys. I think the Beal situation is the linchpin to it all. And then once that happens, we'll get everything else will start going off.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there a chance that this doesn't happen? Or do you think it's to a point with the reporting that it just happens?
I think it's going to happen. I think Beal getting bought out is going to happen. I mean, there's been so much very, adamant statements about he's done in Phoenix. It's not, they've been trying to move Milwaukee forever.
Yeah, they said there was a report prior to the Milwaukee Dame thing that I think emboldened them to make this decision. That one way or another, they were not gonna have Bradley Beal. They even said they were gonna trade him or they were gonna waive him. Yep. But that was a report before Dame even got bought out and all that stuff. So,
then most of that's stemming from John Gambadoro. Does he get things wrong on some markets sometimes? Yeah, I mean, we've seen it, but
he said this was going to happen like 2 weeks ago.
He's very good in the Phoenix market. He knows what he's talking about in Phoenix. And so I'm going to trust that he knows what he's talking about with the Bradley Beal situation as well. And that we're going to see some type of a move take place here.
Yeah.
Everybody let us know in the comment section, where do you think Bradley Beal should go? And does he swing the balance of power? Or do you agree with me that I don't think he does? I think he's a difference maker, but does he change the title race? I don't think I can go quite there. I'm certainly not planning a parade for any team that signs him, but give me your thoughts in the comment section down below, as well as Josh Okogie. Where do you think he should go? Don't forget to subscribe right here to the channel. Till next time, see ya and stay safe.